Welcome back to Nemo Nation. Good morning, Dave. You know what? We introduced him already, but would you care to do the introduction of the next guy who is already here? Focus in.
Yes, indeed. He's already here in focus on audio and video. And of course, Dean Croke is coming on board with us here. Dean is the chief analyst at DAT. He is that guy. And of course, the owner and driver of the Grumpy Pete, which truck enthusiasts know and love around the world.
And the dude's got 2.5 million miles on the road under his belt as well.
But he'll get there.
And he's the crown prince of the he's the crown prince of the kingdom of sleep. He's arrived. By the way, Earl and Joan Noble have arrived. They say good morning to everybody in the family. Hey, Dean, I wanted to get you in some of the fun and games with Tara. What's going on in your neck of the woods? What are you looking forward to this week? What are you keeping an eye on, my brother?
Yeah, I was just looking this morning, Mine Expo coming up in Las Vegas. I think it's every few years. It's one of the biggest mining expositions they have in the world. It's in Las Vegas coming up soon. I want to get out there and spend a week and just get some content, have a look at all the big trucks, bringing in all the haul trucks and excavators. So that's sort of on my radar this week because that takes a lot of planning. But this week is Gear Jammer Week. It's the big truck show in New England at the New England Dragway. They'll have 700 trucks this year. The fundraising efforts for the Doug Flutie Foundation, we're looking for raising about $125,000 this year for the Doug Flutie Junior Foundation. We started out about 8 or 9 years ago, Jimmy Mack and Dave, at the Hudson Elks in Boston, the truck show, and we raised $14,000 for the cause. We're going to hit $125,000 this year. Just an amazing event, and a lot of the truckers from New England go, but you'll find truckers from all over the country who happen to be here unloading and loading this week will make the effort to be there. There's some pretty big names that'll be here. I'll be able to bring all that content to everybody over the course of the weekend. Cam will be there also.
Tell our listeners, by the way, about the Flutie Foundation, what they're kind of focused on and what they're dedicated towards kind of making happen.
Yeah, Doug Flutie, of course, as you know, was a famous footballer. I think he was famous for the Hail Mary.
Oh, the 1985 bombs away against Miami when he played for Boston College, and it's just it's one of the great stories of all time. And he's a guy that had he existed in the NFL now as opposed to then, it absolutely would have. But he'd have been a star, and his height worked against him. By the way, his height worked against him terribly. How you doing there, Dave? You itching up? You itching up a storm, huh? But what is the foundation focused on, by the way?
It's primarily focused on raising awareness for the autism community. And that's been the primary focus. Doug Flutie Jr. is part of that foundation. He's a famous person here in New England. Like, he's quite a legend in New England. And we've been raising money for that foundation for a long time. You'll see trucks turn up, and you see them around truck shows, but they are painted in the blue with the jigsaw puzzle type combination all over the trucks. But there will be probably half a dozen trucks there that are painted with the autism awareness message. So it's a great cause. It affects a lot of people in the country. And of course, there's a lot of things that truckers support. This is one of the big ones. Cystic fibrosis is another. But I think what's always at the heart of it is the generosity of truckers that work all week. They'll work 12-hour days. They'll work all week. They'll be buffing, shining, polishing, waxing, and then they'll turn up there on Friday and Saturday and Sunday morning and donate their time to raise money for this cause. And, of course, to show off their trucks, because that's an extension of their self-image. So that's the best part of it, is seeing the softer side of truck drivers, because we all present a fairly hard image to everybody outside.
Yeah, and I asked you to mention the Flutie Foundation in more detail because, as you well know, and Dave knows it too, my younger brother, his son Henry, is severely on the spectrum. By the way, he's a handful, and he's a wonderful, beautiful kid, but he's a handful, and he got a chance to swim with his grandpa last week. Everybody saw those pictures as well. It's interesting, too, because I'll tell you about Henry, guys, really quickly. It turns out that there was finally something along with swimming that he took to. It turns out that ski slopes calm him down. He loves skiing, and it's always, you never know what is going to reach these children, what is going to reach these young people. There's always something that kind of ignites their imagination and brings them back into the frequency with everybody else, and it's just kind of beautiful to see. But a lot of people, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for those parents, you know, and don't let Hollywood fool you about what it is. It is rough going for a lot of very loving people, isn't it?
Yeah. I have a lot of the kids come up to the truck, and they go up to a lot of folks' trucks, right? And I've taken kids for a ride in the truck that are on the spectrum. One thing I've learned is they don't react to noise very well. You know, so if you got a very loud engine brake and 8-inch straight through pipes like I've got on my truck, that can be extremely stressful. And I learned that the hard way. I thought it'd be cool, and of course it was anything but cool, but they love the experience of being in this big truck. For some people, it's just a wonderful experience.
I was also going to ask you to kind of pivot here, because we'll get in more detail as you come on a regular basis, but what are you looking forward to, or what are you looking at closely in regards to your job as an analyst? Yeah,
I talked about with Dave over this at the weekend, sort of electronically. There were some really bad takes last week by some fairly big names in the media. Social media in particular is just way off mark with how good the trucking industry is. And I really wanted to just sort of level set everybody, because I think some people got caught up in the euphoria of the July 4 increase in spot rates, which happens every year. So, you know, every year they go up to 7.5 and then they kind of get this slide south, and we're seeing it already. So I think 1 week doesn't make a trend. And I think that's what some people might have got caught up in the July 4 week, was this rapid rise in spot rates in the order of 10 to 12 cents a mile, but they're already starting to slide south. And they do every single year right on cue. They've done it for the last decade. And spot rates will drop somewhere between 9 to 10 cents a mile by Labor Day. You can take that to the bank. Nothing is really going to change that, especially in this environment where we've got very uncertain demand with the ongoing trade war. Shippers are kind of frozen. New orders are going down. We're not seeing a lot of increased demand. So I just wanted to level set everybody. Don't get caught up in some of the really bad takes that are out there that are saying the truck market has flipped and it's going to turn. And suddenly, because we're now enforcing English language proficiency, things are going to change. No, they won't. That will make zero difference to spot rates, because we've got excess capacity in the market. But more so, what's affecting it is not capacity. That won't change the direction of the market. It's demand. It's what puts freight on the back of our trucks that's absolutely critical. And I'll share with you 2 data points, and I'll sort of wrap this thought up. Big carriers that represent about 80% of the freight market, that's the contract market, are still decreasing their rates to hold on volume, at best flat to maybe slightly up. So they've been like that for quite a while. We're not seeing shippers lose their pricing power. So shippers have got pricing power. Large carriers are still struggling in the main to hold on to rates. So there's some variances on different lanes. But in the spot market in June, and this is a really important data point for those listening, they flipped year over year negative in the month of June. After being positive for 10 months, they flipped negative. Now, why is that important? Well, we define a freight recessionary period as when rates go negative year over year. That means they were lower than this time a year ago. Normally in June, that's the last thing you see, because normally rates are heading north in June. This year, they're heading south. So I think be very careful about what you listen to. Just remember, 1 week of data points doesn't make a trend. And this year we're seeing a lot more seasonality in the market. And by that I mean you can predict fairly accurately that rates will start to decrease until Labor Day, and then they'll start to improve, they'll fall off a little bit, and then they'll start to surge again around Thanksgiving. The spot market is incredibly predictable, but I think if you look at the big picture, rates are going to be fairly flat for the rest of this year, absent some sort of major catastrophe. There's just nothing on the horizon that says that we're going to see an increase in demand for the things that we put on the back of our trucks.
It's an economy, not a football game.
Home of the 11-month memory, America.
America. Yeah, as we said,
you're right.
The United States of amnesia.
And I go back further than you do, Dean, and it's the same thing decade after decade.
Dean, thank you so much, my brother. It's great to hear from you. Thank you for taking a longer ride with us. Dean is a regular contributor, and, well, he is a founding member of Nemo Nation. Thank you so much, Dean. Best of days. We got to say goodbye,
Thank
but
you.
we will talk to you sooner rather than later. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Dean.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Dean Croke, everybody.